Oosh, oof, oof. 1 2. Check, check, 1 2. Buckle my shoe. 3 4. Knock on my door. 5 6. Pick up some sticks. 7 8. Don't be late. 8 p.m. GMT. Mental Health Monday. That one didn't rhyme. But it's Mental Health Monday. It's my big face. It's the web browser. It's the web browser. Yeah, can you hear me? 1 2. You can hear me. I can hear that you can hear me. You can hear I can hear that you can hear me. It's chat getting popped out. Getting popped out now. Pop you out. Pop. Boom. Pop. Boom. Pop. Straight to my heart. Da, 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 da. Don't get DMC'd. Do I want to become famous? I already am famous, mate. I already am famous. You don't get Twitch channel if you're not famous, do you? You don't get to just do your own Twitch channel if you're not famous. You only get that if you're famous. Oh no, wait. Any old chuffer can do it. Do I want to become famous? I already am famous, mate. I already am famous. I already am famous. You don't get Twitch affiliate. Do you? You don't get Twitch affiliate if you're not famous. They don't just hand that out to anybody with 50 subs. Oh no, wait. Don't want to get famous. I already am. I've got a YouTube channel, mate. Got a YouTube channel. Look, Mental Health Monday. It's down there. You can see it on the screen. Already am famous. You can't just have a YouTube channel if you're not famous, can you? Any old person can't just start their own YouTube channel and just upload any old chuff to it. Oh wait. Do I want to become famous? Look, I already am famous, mate. I already am famous. Statistically, my ASMR videos have been viewed sort of one every minute since I started uploading, around about something like that. Somewhere all over the world, sometime, at some stage, always somewhere, always, someone's watching one of my ASMR videos at least. If not one of my Mental Health Monday videos or anything. So I already am famous, mate. I already am famous. To at least one person. Ish. Capital K, one of our Ganji Puka Warrior crew, said, is it alright if he feels in a certain way, if he feels that I'm sort of famous? So I said, yeah, I'm not really. I told him I wasn't, but really I am, aren't I? Look, so why do I want to become famous? It's a grind, mate, being famous. Get my head up. Some people, I'll tell you about fame. Oh, take my hood down, it's too much, it's claustrophobia. Tell you what I'll do what I'll do before we start that. I'll just put the Samaritans number up. There, it's there on screen. Samaritans, we're waiting for your call. No, where's the number? Hey, get rid of that. There it is, it's on screen. So if you're coming to Mental Health Monday and you think, what the chuff is this guy chuffing on about? Why the chuff is he chuffing on about all sorts of other chuff? Then there's the number to call for somebody who can deal with your crisis immediately. Just a stranger you can talk to. Some friendly advice. Maybe not advice, maybe not judgment, maybe none of that. Just someone to talk to. There's the Samaritans. You can talk to us in chat anytime. Today we're going to be talking about resilience. I'll show you that. Look. Developing resilience, how to manage stress, building your resilience, American Psychological Association. Not sponsored by the American Psychological Association. I was pleased to see their reforms in a documentary from the 60s, after they used to think that being homosexual was a disease that needed curing. And there was a really fantastic documentary about the people who pushed for that change. I'll remember next time I broadcast to write down their names and review it in a way, I think. But now's not the time. They're doing reasonable good work, aren't they, at the moment? The APA, American Psychological Association. They're talking about building your resilience, as will we today on Mental Health Monday. There's the Samaritans Mental Health Monday. Samaritans. Oh, but first, let me tell you about fame. Let me tell you about fame. When I was a lad, when I was growing up, my old man, my dad, ran a business in the town, roofing, did some roofing. So quite often, as in a social situation, an adult might say to me, oh, are you so-and-so's son? his son. I say, yeah. So it sounds silly. That's not being famous, is it? That's not being famous. But notoriety, being known before you're known, walking into a situation, having some people say to you, "Oh, I already know who you are. I know who you are. Aren't you so and so? I know who you are. I've heard of your dad." And then those situations, I mean, it wasn't really me, was it? It was my dad's notoriety. But some of those situations would be like, "Oh, he's good. Let's have handshake. I'll buy you a drink," that sort of thing. When I was a bit older, other situations where, he punched so and so, or something along those lines, or he punched so and so, and I'd be like, "Well, I didn't. I don't know. Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? I'm the daddy now. Where's your tool? What tool? This tool. Douche. I'm the daddy now." But yeah, so sometimes that happened. And then when I went to school as well, I wasn't really known, was I? I wasn't known in school. No notoriety really at school. Although some people did spread some malicious rumours about me at one point. Just some bullies doing some mean things. And every time I heard the rumour, I would be like, "Oh, fuck you." I was swearing. I'd go at them and I'd have a go at the bullies and get myself in a little sort of silly little situation. "Oh, aren't you that kid with the thing?" They say this rumour. And I go, "Chuff you, you fucking chuffer. Who said you that? I'd chuff you. I'll chuff you up if you want." And they'd be like, "Oh, we're bigger than you and there's more of us." And I'd be like, "Oh, chuff, why did I do that? Oh, I'm in the bin again." "Get out of the bin. Oh, get out of the bin. Oh, you chuffing chuffers, I'll kick you in the knee." I remember once I kicked a kid so hard in the knee. I mean, I could only kick him in the knee. He was such bigger than me. The knee was my only available opportunity. But I chuffed his knee. Not advocating violence. This is schoolyard antics. I'm talking about. But that sort of notoriety wasn't good, was it? It wasn't nice for someone to come up to you and say, "Oh, I've heard something about you. Don't even know who you are." And sometimes these would be people who I didn't know, the fourth form or whatever. And it was not even true. It's just something some idiot kid made up for being rude. I don't know. So, do I want to become famous? Well, I've already experienced some of the negativity that is associated with notoriety. So I've already experienced that. Then later on, when I did my own ASMR, there was some of the negative. We're not going to go over that over and over again. But I experienced some trolling on the internet, on the Twitter, on the Twitch. Not Twitch. I'm on Twitch now. It's good at Twitch. Twitter it was. The Twitter. Experienced some of that. Britney Spears is, there's some negativity to it, isn't there? When I went to the college, eventually, when I finally got out that schooling system, I went to a college. My first week of college, I did a gig. I was in a band and we played a gig. It was this thing like, "Welcome to the college. These are the new people, new year." And some bands are going to play on like Wednesday evening or whatever. I think it was Wednesday afternoon. I think it was afternoon, wasn't it? The actual college, like everyone gets an hour off after lunch to go to like special hour, golden hour, I think it was called. Like where most people who were supposed to be in lessons were all just let free to have a bit of a social. And we did a gig and we played at this gig. So for the entire first year of college, whenever I met someone, the majority of the cases of the people were like, "I already know who you are. You're him from that gig. Like, so I already know you." And like you feel, I remember my first day of college. I remember being in a little class. Everyone was silent. Mistreated bully period. No, don't worry about it. It was the best thing to do was just to like make a rap battle track. No, the best thing to do would have been to get ahead of it, reframe it, and set the tone for the narrative, and sort of act in a certain way on the video that made the best impression socially. But that was what someone else. I don't behave like that, do I? I'm not thinking like a marketing creation, so I just said what I thought on a video, made my battle rap after a few months of consistent abuse, put an end to it. It ended. It's the end. Like, don't worry about that. It's the past, isn't it? And I'm going to move the Samaritans. The Samaritans aren't sponsoring my rant. Mental Health Monday. So, do I want to be famous? That's moved off the top of the chat now. How do you move the chat so you can see it? Do I want to be famous? Let's go back to that for a minute. I remember this first day of college. Everyone sat in this room. Like this was before the gig. This was like the first day. Everyone sat in this room, and everyone was silent because they were all nervous about talking to each other. And just innate inside me, I don't. It's not that I don't have shyness, and I'm here on the internet talking to you, aren't I? So you get what I'm about to say. Like, I piped up. I just piped up. I was like, all right, okay. Like the teacher isn't here yet. What I really wanted to do, and I always wanted to do this, is just to dress up really smart for the first day and just go and stand at the front and say, all right, my name is Mr. Scott, and I'm here today. What's your name? What's your name? And then when the teacher comes in, just sit down quietly and just act like I've not done it, and then to really play with people's conceptions. But yeah, I just sort of said, all right, my name's Scott. I'm from so and so school, and I've come here, and like just like all of you people, I don't know any of you, and I'm from this area, age, sex, location, and I told them a little story. I just said, and a funny little story about me is how once my granddad, this is a true story. My granddad, we had a goldfish at my granddad's house when I was a little kid, and when I went one weekend, it died, and my granddad didn't want me to know it had died, so he just fed it. Put the flakes on the top. He fed the fish, and he went, "Oh look, he's come up for his food. All right, let's go out. Let's go." And then I never had to witness the disposal of the goldfish and the replacement of the goldfish. As far as I was concerned, he was just really ready for his food and also a bit unconscious. So yeah, but I knew the goldfish had died. You see, I knew it had died, even at that naive young age, and I knew that my granddad was trying to help my hurt feelings. So I tried to help his hurt feelings by pretending that I thought it wasn't, that he was, that his ruse had gone over without being spotted, because I didn't want him to feel bad that he hadn't, that I felt bad, So, and none of us felt bad, and the end result was a new goldfish, and that was fine. So I told my little story, and that broke the ice, and then the next person said their thing, and then before you knew it, we were all talking, and the teacher came in and said, "Will everyone quieten down?" You're supposed to be quiet. It's the first day of college. If you can't behave on the first day, how are we going to get through the rest of the year? Will everyone calm down and quieten down? And they were all like, "It was him. It's him. He did it. He did it. It was he started the talking. He started the talking." They didn't tell us to calm down. They were fine. But yeah, so that was the first day of college, and like I say, the troublemaker, that wasn't my final day of college. So we're not going to talk about all my highlights and lowlights of college. Maybe one day we can, but certainly not now. Although mental health does come into it, I'll tell you what, mental health does come into it, because my inability to steer myself into an academic success was probably, my success was guided off course by failing mental health, I would imagine. So we can talk about that maybe sometime. But today we're talking about building your resilience. So maybe I should know more about this back then. But do I want to be famous? I was saying, do you want to be famous? Well, people knew me before I knew who they were, and instead of that ice-breaking moment where you all feel the same, and I could be in control and say my little story and do that, people would come up to me in like the refectory or whatever and be like, "Oh, hey, it's you. You were in that gig. Hi. Like, do you want a cigarette, or do you something, whatever, something good or bad, whatever." But I didn't have that ability to then be like, "Oh, hi, my name's so and so. Nice to meet you. Here's my first impression." Like, they'd already got their first impression of me, and that was it. So good or bad, being famous takes elements of control away from you. And what do you get in return? Well, like, the fame itself doesn't really do anything for you. I know that you can, in certain contexts, you can leverage your fame. I know, like, for example, people on Instagram, on YouTube, and to a certain extent, what I'm doing here on Twitch, trying to build an audience, trying to build a group of like-minded people who share ideas and opinions, and trying to provide a media product, some content. The idea is to build and grow beyond just this thing, and to have the ability to say, okay, so me as a person, I'm valuable because people respect what I say about art or mental health. So if you're doing a documentary about mental health, you can talk to me. I'll sit down and tell you something about my experience and the experience of our group. Same with art, that's what, we're building towards something that way. Other people maybe are building towards just a sense of notoriety, so that you can, become there's this influencer thing, isn't there? This silly influencer thing about the products, the marketing, and being able to get money for the what you call it, get money for the I say something, you listen, and I'm famous, and that's my income. That's like some of them are driving towards that, I suppose. And maybe there's a positive there in that you get money, you know. But tea, I've got a nice cup of tea. I don't need much more. I'm all right. Although do support me on Patreon, please, and subscribe to us on Twitch. Let's get on with Mental Health Monday then. We've talked about we've talked about how terrible it would be to be famous with people giving you money for stuff, but also knowing who you are. If I go to the shops, I don't want them all to know who I am. I don't want to be like, oh, it's whispering behind the, it's so and so. Mind you, like, you know what? This is weird to consider. When I'm broadcasting through this medium, talking to you, I always feel like I'm talking to everyone else in the world other than the people around my local area. Like, I don't think I'm looking. My neighbours are watching my stream, but they couldn't they? That'd be weird, wouldn't it? Imagine if your stream was more popular through your locale. If like there was some setup on Twitch that like, said, oh, broadcasting local to you, near you. That'd be quite interesting, wouldn't it? Twitch, near you. These not just UK based, but closer to home, like, and then you could like build up more of a social network by literally being able to, find out who's local. But I always think of it that I'm broadcasting far and wide, and that anyone but my neighbours would be watching. Look at my growth now, yeah. Popping off, right. In order to pop off, we need to be consistent. Here we go. I can shuffle you up there. Got my big little big face. Building resilience. Let's do mind first, actually, because mind is more straightforward. How to manage stress. We were talking about this last week, right? So last week we were saying that young people needed to develop tools to manage stress. They needed to. It wasn't just like a thumbs up moment. It was like they're being failed by the institutions. So we're going to offer some actual tips, actionable things, and they might be repeating certain aspects because we talked about stress a little more, and we might be stopping and pausing and talking gibberish all the way, and you might have to put up with me doing the reading and you not being able to see exactly the whole page, but it's fine. Right, how can I be more resilient? Taking steps to look after your well-being can help you deal with pressure and reduce the impact that stress has on your life. This is sometimes called developing emotional resilience. Emotional resilience. You see, now developing it is already, I'm going to stop and start shuffling on big face. Emotional resilience is not something that we're taught, definitely not. And it's not something that everyone would naturally develop just given a free roam, I guess. We're all going to have the same problems in life in certain aspects. We're all going to suffer some of the same sadnesses. But maybe not every young person goes through the same churning mill that encourages emotional resilience, maybe. And also it talks about developing it. Maybe we're born with an innate sense of emotional resilience. Maybe some people are more or less emotionally resilient. Maybe some people are more or less sensitive. We talked about that a little bit last week, the nature nurture debate. But I would reason that everyone is at least to some extent sensitive. That's like part of what being a human being is, isn't it? We're a set of senses that make up our senses are the like try and touch things to explain it. That's how we interact with the world. That's how we perceive the world. Literally, like my eyes, my ears, they're everything, aren't they? Our senses are our ability to. Like they're our vector of transmission. That's the wrong terminology. But our senses allow us to interact. Like they are everything. They build everything for us, and so we're all sensitive. Like that's just basic. How sensitive and how we react to the things that our senses, our inputs tell us, and the way we make it churn over in our mind, maybe a bit different naturally, or maybe we can develop emotional resilience. So resilience is not just your ability to bounce back, but also your capacity to adapt in the face of challenging circumstances. Again, that's really human, isn't it? The ability to adapt. I was watching, I should do big face. I am big face, right? Time out. I'm going to talk about Ghislaine Maxwell, so it's a little bit like, not everyone's going to want to talk about Ghislaine Maxwell. She was on the news. We're not talking about all the stuff she's done. But I watched these documentaries about her the other day, and part of her identity is like her dad was Robert Maxwell. He died off the back of a boat, and then she like created herself again, and then that all went a bit sour, and she tried to recreate herself again, and now she's in the prison. So she's recreating herself again in prison. But she had this amazing ability to bounce back, to sort of draw a line under a tragedy and then say, right, from here to now, it's she described it in the documentary as an ability to start a new life, like the ability to say, right, that's that done, let's go on forward, and what am I going to do now? Most of us, I think, have that ability. All of us probably, it's like a human thing, isn't it? It's like a human thing. But it's also your capacity to adapt in the face of challenging circumstances. And that's really human and natural as well, isn't it? Really human and natural. Web browser. Whilst maintaining a stable mental well-being. That's the tip. That's the trick, isn't it? That's the trick. Can you maintain a stable well-being? Because I think most of us can adapt to the challenging circumstances, but the stress boiling over, the pressure, maintaining a stable mental well-being, that's key. Resilience isn't a personality trait. Okay, so it's not something you're just born with. Like, it's not a personality trait that you inherit, or you cross just like you don't. It's something that we can all take steps to achieve. Fair play. We can all do this. For example, you can boom, boom, boom. That's the page. Well, it seems like short, but it's not. It's not short, because when you press one of these, it opens up. There's dealing with pressure on the previous page specifically. So this is mind.org. If you wanted to find it, information, PDFs, stuff like that. And we're going to do these. We're going to press these buttons and have a look through their little. They're different from the American Psychological Association, so we're going to look at both. And bear in mind while we do this, bear this in mind. France are playing on the football in the other room. France are playing Switzerland in the football in the other room. I'm doing this. Commitment. That's commitment to you. That's commitment. Not watching the football, I'm in here doing this. Committed. Right, make some lifestyle changes. No, I don't want to, I'm doing it. I'm committed. Right, practice being straightforward and assertive. Yes, okay, I'm happy with that. In communicating with others, if people are making unreasonable or unrealistic demands on you, be prepared to tell them how you feel and say no. The organisation Mind Tools provides tips on assertiveness. We could look at that, couldn't we? Like in its own whole separate episode. We've got all these tips to get through, so we're going to get through them. But being straightforward and assertive and saying, look, I'm having trouble at the moment, finding it difficult. Can you give me a hand? Or I'm not going to be able to do that thing, that task that you're trying to burden me with. I'm just not going to be able to do it because I feel this, this, and this. And I know you're going to be cross about it, and I know you really want it done, but maybe I'll do it tomorrow. But right now, it's just a bit tough. Bit tough. Look how good I am. Look how naughty you are. Yeah, being straightforward is important, isn't it? It's not rude either sometimes to just say things as they are. In fact, you can do it in a nice way. You can start with you instead of I. You feel this and you want this, and then give them the thing they don't want to hear. I think this, and then go back to the other thing. But I see how you think this because of it, and I'm going to mitigate that by trying to do this, that, and the other. Show that you've thought about their feelings. That makes the I think this, or I'm not going to do that, go across a lot better. Use relaxation techniques. Tell you what I did this week, because I moved the steering wheel on my car. Does that sound stupid? It is. Big face. You're going to like this. Big face. So I've been driving. I've been feeling really stressed right here. And I've been driving and I've been doing this. Haven't I? And it's been activating that exact one muscle that seems to be part of my stress response in my chest. We talked about this when I had to go to the hospital, didn't we? So I had that, like, driving, and I thought to myself, look, I was going on the dog walk, and I was like, this chuffing stress, this chuffing chest, I shouldn't be having this just from driving. When I got in the car next, I moved the seat, I moved the thing. I know it sounds silly, right? I don't want to be all sat back when I'm driving. I want to be sat up and paying attention to the road. But I just moved the steering wheel down as well. And that steering wheel now is down here. You can't even see my hand. It's down here. It's a lot more easy to manoeuvre. I can't see the speedometer. Okay. I can't. My arm was way up. Yeah, it was way up. But it's just different cars and different seat positions and different things. My old car, it was like a like a little go-kart, wasn't it? Like with just some bits of metal hammered on the side. So you were much more close to the road. I don't know. This one's a bit higher up. Anyway, I've moved the steering wheel. It has helped. It has helped. It's not a relaxation technique. That it's not a relaxation technique, but it has helped a little bit. But web browser, Mental Health Monday. Use relaxation techniques. Shift your steering wheel. It's not about the steering wheel, is it? We all know these. We've got a few of these. We've been talking about them for weeks now. But this just says you might already know what helps you relax. Having a bath. Having a bath doesn't help my dog to relax, I tell you that. Listening to music or taking your dog for a walk. Yeah, you see, I do those things and I like those things. If you know a certain activity helps you feel more relaxed, make sure you set time aside to do it. What a cool concept. Look, it's telling me on the internet, and now I'm telling you on Mental Health Monday. We're sharing that now. We're sharing that. This cool concept. If you know a certain activity, I'm going to just do big face. This is like, if you know, they're saying it on the internet, tips for mental resilience. This is to teach you how to cope with the stresses of life. Something important that every child needs to know, that they're not getting, fully, they're not fully understanding these things, because otherwise we wouldn't be having the mental health issues in the young that we were looking at last week. So if you know a certain activity that does help you feel more relaxed, and maybe Fortnite does, or maybe it winds you up, make sure you set aside time to do it. You're allowed to put the time aside to do the thing that's chilling. It's important to do that. Set the time. You're allowed to schedule it. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't go and do the stressful things. I can't go and do all the difficult things right now, because I've scheduled in chilling time. I'm allowed to go and talk to my mates at the pub. I'm not promoting the pub, but I'm allowed to go and socialise with my friends. I'm allowed to go and dance at the disco. I'm allowed to. Well, I'm not really at the moment because there's a COVID, isn't there? But in principle, what I'm saying. I'm allowed to play on my computer games if I want to, as long as they don't make me feel like this. Right? Yeah, I'm even supposed to schedule time to do it. That's cool. And doing this Mental Health Monday actually relaxes me talking to you. So I've scheduled that in every week at 8 p.m. Chill for myself. They've got pages on relaxation, of course. Develop your interests and hobbies. Well, that's like in combo, isn't it? It's like in combo. But it really is a good idea. Find an activity that's different from the things that is causing you stress. And it's a great way to get away from everyday pressures. I'm allowed to go and play golf. I'm allowed to. My old landlord, she was a member of the golf club. And I used to pay money for. I used to work all the time. This is big face, isn't it? Big face. Oh no, under construction. Okay, big face. Let's just check you can still hear me. This is big face, isn't it? I haven't even done the clapperboard, but there's so much stuff on the top of the clapperboard I can't still hear me. This is big face, isn't it? I haven't even done. Right, okay. Yeah, my old landlord. She was a landlady, I suppose. Landowner. No, the person I paid my rent to for my shop. I used to pay this rent, and I used to work all month, and then at the end of the month, I'd just take this big chunk of it and just give it away. Not giving it away, like paying for the ability to stay in the shop. But I'd said to her once, I was like, can I buy the shop? Because if I had a mortgage on it, it's going to work out less than the money I give you every month. And I've worked out that the amount of money I give you every month and the previous people who've been in the shop before me, you've probably paid that mortgage, and now it's all profit. So why not just make a little bit more profit and let me, have a good go at my business? And she was like, I don't know about that. I play golf in the week, and I like my golf, so you're paying for that basically. Enjoy it. And so I never got to go on the golf course. I never got to go and hit the ball, but I did pay for it. I paid for it, didn't I? I paid for it with my hard work. Where's your chat disappeared? Look, I've moved the things and our chat's disappeared. There you are. There you are. Let's get chat put on top. Chat on top window. Best window. Right on top. Did a 90-minute message. I'm like, see, you're allowed. You schedule that in. Schedule it in for next week as well, because it's not just you're allowed, you're instructed to from Mental Health Monday. Boom. I bet my landlord was having a 90-minute massage after the golf. But I paid for that chuffer as well. Anyway, look. We're proud. I was only having a little joke. I'm only having a little joke talking about golf there. She used to play it, I didn't. Make time for your friends. Make time for them. When you've got a lot on, this might seem hard. This is one of the things I'm really bad at. If any of my friends ever listen to this and they're thinking, oh, Scott doesn't make time for me. Well, I don't make time for anyone. So I just do things on my own quietly. I don't call anyone. I don't email anyone. I don't Facebook anyone. I gave up on Facebook completely. And there's negatives to it, which I'm really going to try and remedy. I've said to myself all the time, Wales played football the other day. I've got this old friend from Wales who I haven't spoken to in probably gone 10 years. And, I miss him. I care about him. I just don't have something in my life between me and the picking up the phone and doing the texties and the phoning someone. There's never a point in my day where I say, oh, this is now the time in my day where I should get on the phone and talk to someone. I'm always like, oh, I need to do this, or I'm on to that, I'm walking the dog after this, and then after that I'm eating my thing. And do you know what I mean? I don't know if you know what I mean, but that's me, that's how I live. But you shouldn't. You should make time for your friends. I do make time for Fortnite time. We play on Fortnite together. I do make time on Saturdays to drive people around if they're drunk. Big face. I don't drink. I've got my non-alcoholic beer here, right here. That's 0.0%. I don't drink alcohol. Let's open this up in celebration. It's been a few years now. I don't know how many years. I forgot to count. I should have made a big thing about it and put it on the calendar, but I just forgot to. It's been years. So I don't drink, and my friends know that. So if they get really drunk and they need a lift home, they know they can always call me. I'm even saying this for truths. If you're listening and you're my friend and you're thinking, oh no, Scott takes me home and I feel bad. No, I mean it. They can always call me because I really don't mind. I just live around the corner from some of them. And for some of them, like the other day, somebody wanted me to drive a certain distance and it was a little more difficult for me. So I just told them. I said no, which was one of our list of things. You have to say no when it's too much. But mostly, if someone is around the corner and they got a little bit too drunk and they don't want to drive their car, because safety, come on. Call me. You can't drink. I have to just inject it. No, yeah, not drinking, good. We're happy with it. It's a poisonous alcohol. But yeah, my friends, sometimes I drive them around, make time to drive. I don't mind making the time. I don't mind it. Because as you can see, it's actually positive for my mental health. Make time for your friends. Chatting to friends about the things you can find difficult keeps things into perspective, and you can do the same for them. Laughing and smiling will also produce hormones that help you to relax. So that's good. That's good. Actually, turns out that being funny is good for people, but I also wonder sometimes if we need to be serious and get things sorted as well. Bit of both, eh? Bit of both. Find balance in your life. You see, look at that. It's like I knew what was coming. Find balance in your life. You may find that one part of your life, such as your job or taking care of young children. Today I labelled this one, big face. Today I labelled this one ASMR auditory, because I was really going to keep the auditory ASMR talking. But I'm already chirping up. I was really tired, you see. I was really tired, but I'm already chirping up. So sorry about that if you feel I've mislabelled it. If you feel I've mislabelled this broadcast as ASMR when actually it's something else. Sorry about that. See what I did there? You can't see, but I'm actually sat in a bucket of water. Either that or I've wet my pants. Web browser. Yeah, there's no bucket. Oh, now the cat's meowing in the other room, and it's only because I've locked her out of the kitchen, but I can't get up and put her in the kitchen. She's just going to have to... Someone else is going to have to open the kitchen door if there's anyone else to do it. Maybe the dog. Look, find balance in your life. When I'm stressed, I take myself away from everyone into another room or somewhere quiet, even just for 5 minutes, and sing to myself. When people catch me, not full on belting out a tune, but just quietly or even humming to myself really calms me down. Do you know what I did the other day? Which one was it? I sang a song the other day. Can't remember which song it was, but it actually did calm me down when I was feeling a little bit anxious. It's not my top tip, but this is a tip here. Right, it's literally gonna take me seconds. The cat cannot suffer being out there in the hallway on her own. I will have to fix it. Seconds, just was really. I could have taken the opportunity to quickly look at the television and see what the score was in the France game. I didn't even do that. Just let the cat in. Just pure duty. Right, when I'm stressed, I find balance in life, spread the weight of pressures. So these are things we need to teach kids. They need to, let's just revise. I want to also today, because last week we talked about the problem in schools, and the thing that we need to teach the kids is resilience. And I was like, oh, but what is resilience? Like, how do we teach that? So practice being straightforward and assertive. Do you know what? A lot of young people, I've found, right? There's a lot of young people that are naturally assertive or rude. Let's go big face. Rude, aren't they, the young people? Rude, aren't they? The young people. Do you know what they do? You do this. Okay, so if you're American, you get a pass for this because it's cultural. But in the UK, when you go into a shop, I'm not talking about stores. In America, you have stores because you went out to the Wild West and you set up a general store and that had everything and it stored everything and other people come and got their little bits. But in the UK, we didn't have stores. We've got shops, right? Shops. But the rude young children, they call them stores. They call them stores, and because they've watched American television, so they think that they can just say any old words, and in a way they can. The beauty of language is that it's fluid, and you just can. But they do. They call them stores, the rude young children, and they. The rude young children. I'm a bit like Stuart Lee, aren't I? I'm doing a bit of stand up here. I haven't thought this up. This is ad lib. The rude. The rude young children, right? They go into the stores, and what they want is. They want whatever they want, an item. And so they say to the people, can I get? And the poor people who work behind the counter at the shops, they're forced to just, if yes, you can. Like, can I get a packet of biscuits? And they don't say please, they just say, can I get? In the UK, we've been taught over the years, we've had a system, in America, they say, can I get? I've seen it on the telly. So you get a free pass for this. This is something that's not impolite in America, it seems. You're a lot more straightforward in America, it seems, to me, in the UK. In the UK, we're taught to be polite. It's Victorian values, some of which we've cast off. And I'm all for casting off silly old values, but politeness, I don't want to see an end to politeness. I was taught, I was disciplined, which means beaten into learning how to be polite. Disciplined, which means shouted at and beaten into being polite. And it means that when I sit at a dinner table, I can be polite. It means that when I approach a doorway and there's also a lady, or indeed anybody else, it doesn't have to be a lady these days, does it? You can just be polite to anyone these days. I'll hold the door. I won't try and barge my way through. These young people, these rude young people, they don't know any of this. They haven't been taught it. They don't know it. They don't care. They just barge their way through, don't they? These rude young people, they say, can I get? Well, in the UK, we've had this system over a long period of time, this system of manners and politeness, and we've been taught to say, please, may I have? Please, being the first word, please, that's polite to say please. Please, or excuse me if someone's busy. This is the other one, these rude young children these days, these rude young people, these naughty young people with their mental health problems, rude. they don't know, I shouldn't be moaning at them because we're trying to help them, but please, the first word, or excuse me, get off my, excuse me, please may I have, if you're not busy, please, may I have, if you've got the time, please, may I have, and then the name of the item. And then you put a little comma after that and a thanks. Thank you. In advance. That's in a shop. That's just in a shop with a stranger. If I've got to go in a shop with a stranger and buy something and they've got the counter and I can't reach it and they've got to get it for me. Or if you're at the bar and you're buying a drink, or in a restaurant and you're ordering a meal. Can I get? No. If it was me and I was working there, this is why I don't work in these places, because I value my job less than I value my opinion. But no, you can't get that because you shout, can I get? No. And if you're at the bar and somebody's in front of you and they get served before you, that's fine because they're in front of you. But if for some mistake the server comes to you before the person that was in front of you in the queue, in the UK it's polite. It's polite. This is manners time now. It's mental health manners Monday. It's polite, right? In the UK to say, oh no, it wasn't my turn. I know this person was in front of me. I saw them there ahead of me. I arrived and they were already here. Would you please serve them? Oh no, it's no problem. It's not your. It's just an easy mistake to make, isn't it? But no, please serve them ahead of me because it wasn't my turn. And then the person who gets served, they just say thanks. They should say, they look at you and say, at you in the eyes, thank you. Even though they thank you, even though it wasn't even your turn, they by rights should have had that. They still say thank you. This is politeness and manners. In the UK now, the naughty kids, the young kids, the rude kids, the young kids, they come in the shop and if they push in the front. They'll push in. They don't care who was there. If they get served before, they'll just start yelling their order. In fact, sometimes they yell their order before the person is getting it, and the server feels to just deal with the louder. No. Look, it's not can I get. It's not can I get. And if you're in America, you get a pass. You get a pass because it's culture. I've seen it on the telly. In America, you don't have the same system of manners. I understand. People are a lot more straightforward. They're a lot more. It's not even seen as rude. This is my awareness of it. It's not even seen as rude. that's I'm just going to deny that. But it's going to say that I denied it, so it's going to say it on the telly, so you can see it on the telly there, on my telly. You'll be able to see it on the broadcast, on the stream. The stream. They call these broadcasts streams. They didn't want to call them broadcasts because they thought it'd sound old and fuddy-duddy, so they called them streams. But they're broadcasts, aren't they? They're broadcasts. But don't tell the old broadcasters that I'm doing this from my bedroom. So it's not my bedroom. I don't sleep in here. But it's from my junk room that used to be a garage. Don't tell people that I'm in a room that was converted from a garage at my house doing a broadcast if they used to perform they're very funny about this sort of thing. They think that you should only be able to do it if you've got huge desks of computers and things, so they don't really consider this to be a broadcast, although I do. Right, so it's not can I get, and if you want to do this in America, it's fine. You can also adopt a more I don't want to say British sort of concept of manners, but if you want to, you can say to people, please may I have, please may I, please may I have, not can I definitely, will you give me that now, but may I, if you're not too busy, please may I have, please may I have, and then thank you at the end when you get it, or if you don't even, just thanks for listening to the request, thanks, that's what you're supposed to. In the shop, you don't have stores in the UK, don't have stores. You have shops. So there's a little lesson if you're young and in the UK and you're feeling suicidal. I'm only joking, aren't I? I'm only messing about. But if suicide's really serious, and that's what we're doing here today. We're talking about the Samaritans. There's your number. We've got a mental health problem with young people. They need to learn to be more resilient. Where did all this jiffle come from? Why am I going on about this? We were talking about teaching them and practice being straightforward. This is something I was going to say about it. In all of that, through all of that, there are young people who are more straightforward and assertive. I was just talking about them and their manners. But at the same time, I used to, in my experience, I used to run a hairdressing business, and so I'd see a lot of young people because they'd come in and get their hair done, and I'd see a lot of young people because they used to work with me. I say with me, for me, I suppose is the better word, isn't it? For me, when you're the boss and you give them the money at the end of it, you're the one that. No, that was me. I was the boss, and I was deciding who got to work there and giving them the money at the end of it. That was all on me. But they worked with me, didn't they? I didn't, how do I explain? If we wasn't all doing it, we wouldn't all have a thing to do. I needed a team. They're working alongside me in my role as commander-in-chief, main hairdresser, head stylist. Anyway, the point being, some younger people, we had Saturday girls who were probably between 14 and 16 who would sweep up and do nothing that you can get in trouble for the health and safety, nothing that you can burn your eyes out with, nothing that you can accidentally, like the hair colour can go in your eyes, no, I wasn't supposed to do this, nothing like that, okay? But just the little, tidying up, answering the phones, things, giving some young people an opportunity to see a workplace, to see a day-to-day, you know what I mean, giving them the opportunity to work for a few hours on a Saturday and getting them some cash so they can go and spend it on sweets. Sweets. I used to buy them lunch as well, so they'd have a nice time. It was always fun for them. They'd always have a nice time. No one was feeling upset. And alongside what we got this is a little cheeky for the salon, but what you get from the salon is you get a couple of young people who you can say, oh, by the way, Shannon wants to do this colour on, we need to try this, we need to try this colour on a guinea pig. So can you sit there and have you? And they're like, yeah, I'd like to have my hair done. So brilliant, two birds, one stone, brilliant. Then I also had a system where I had a girl that was, she goes to college, because I went to a hairdressing college to learn things. We'll talk about hairdressing in another episode, because there's lots to talk about, actually, in terms of right now in the scene, in hairdressing scene, there's not enough apprentices, and I've got a take on that. I've got a take on it. But anyway, I had an apprentice. Wasn't responsible for training her. She did that in the college, but she came and worked in the salon for like 3 days and the weekends, a couple of days in the weekend, whatever it was. She came in the salon, and I'd give her customers to do the work on, because that's the essential practice that you need to get at that age, is working with customers and doing the work. And then I'd give her the money for the work that she did. Like, instead of giving, like, you used to be able to give apprentices like a pittance, but I'd actually just give her the money that she like earned off if the customer paid £30 for the colour, like, I'd take a tenner and I'd give her 20 quid sort of thing, or I'd give her half. I think it was half in the end, of the sum, the overall sum. If it costs £30 for the colour, you get 15, I get 50. I need to pay for the colour, don't I need to pay for this and that, but you get the money, and anyone run home crying. Oh, another day I'll tell you about people. I had one or two. I had one who tried to basically, say a lot of, like, she asked me to do things to her hair. I said it wasn't a good idea. I had a witness where I said, look, I don't think this is a good idea. This is what's going to happen. Here's my witness. We did the job because she insisted on doing the chuffing job, and she was a real little madam about it. So I did it. It went wrong, and I said, well, there you go. You have to pay me now, because I did what I said would happen. And then she come back later and said, oh, I've got a solicitor who's going to, like, we didn't have many of these. We had only one or two. This was before I was the boss even. And I was able to say, look, no solicitor, here's my solicitor. I did what I said. I've got a witness. I took photographs. No, you took photographs. She took photographs as well. I was like, good, because this is what I said would happen. We had a few people like that were just, like, more trouble than they were worth, and deliberately trying to make trouble, I believe. But that was fine, because, like, when I got to be the boss, I could just literally tell them, no, F off, chuff off. In the majority, I did my heart out for kind people, but people who aren't kind and being deliberately mean, no. And once we had a lady make one of our stylists cry, and so the lady had to go, and the stylist got a hug. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was that sort of boss. I wasn't going to have some mean woman making, like, my prize stylist like this. We had other people who I would give them the chair to rent. They could do their own work, they could call their own shots and make their own money. So I wasn't going to have them bullied around. I was there to protect them, essentially. So that's a little story about hairdressing. But young people being assertive, I was going to say, right? So in amongst all this, I've seen a lot of young people who are assertive, and the people who came to get a job, who was, I want to do the washing up, I want to do can I wash hair for you? Those people, yeah, you see them, don't you? Because they're assertive and they're pushing themselves forward. It's the ones who are not so assertive. I'll just quickly go web browser so you can see what we're talking about again, which is practice being straightforward and assertive here. Look, teaching a young person to do that, I thought was really, really important. And one of our young apprentice stylist people, I felt was maybe not so assertive. And the way I felt to teach her to be more assertive was to show her assertiveness in action, talk about it a bit sometimes. Do you see what I said to that woman? But also to give her the opportunity to say, oh, the phone's ringing, can you take that for me? And this is your lady today. Find out what she wants and get your colour mixed up. Like, not to throw her in at the deep end and be like, right, you're in trouble, I'm going out for 20 minutes, deal with it. Like, but sometimes I even would leave, and say, like you're in charge, here are the keys, I'm going to get the lunch for everyone, make sure nothing burns down. And teaching someone to be assertive, if they're quiet and a bit more shy, I believe you encounter situations, you deal with them, and then you become, like, more capable of dealing with them. So I'm sure that as she progressed, she felt more confident of doing these things because she was just doing them. But yeah, I know there are young people who don't feel as confident about being assertive, who don't feel as confident about standing up and talking in front of a crowd, in front of their peers, who don't feel as confident about asking the lady what she wants to drink, or what she watched on telly last week. And so we need to teach that in general. We need to teach that across the board, and it's one of those cases where the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So the people who are more assertive, they stand out, and you feel like, oh, my class is full of assertive kids. I haven't got a problem with this. But it's the small, quiet ones, the meeker, the quiet, smaller voices. I'm not saying about small, personal, physical, because it doesn't matter about how big physically you are. You can still feel shy and not as assertive, and you never know. You never know how little someone is projecting and how much they're thinking, unless you dig in and ask, and ask them to come tell everyone. And even then, that can be, they don't want to tell everyone, so maybe they just need to tell just a few people to start with. I've got a little bit of string on me tape from my headphones. Someone made a comment on, I'm going to do big face, you'll love this. Someone made a comment on one of my ASMR videos. I've been watching them for 7 years, and you come back and you're still wearing the same headphones. And I am. They broke a bit, but I'm not going to throw them down the pan for that. A little bit of gaffer tape fixed them up. These have been good headphones over the years. They've been part of the idea, haven't they? They've been part of the look. The look. So, same headphones, same shirt, same headphones. Same headphones. But I did appreciate the comment. Being straightforward and assertive. That's our lifestyle changes tips, young people. Next, look after physical health. Look, we just whipped by an hour already. Wow, it's just whipping by. Web browser. This is about physical. We've talked about this before, so we can just jump through these a little bit quickly, but it's important to highlight and to sort of highlight our carryover from last week, which is young people aren't, the institutions aren't delivering on this, and we need to help them to do these things. So get enough sleep. That's a family one, isn't it? That's a home life situation. I didn't ever get enough sleep when I was a kid. Always stayed up all night reading and watching telly, eating crisps and pop. But stress can make it difficult to sleep, and it can cause sleep problems. Getting enough sleep can help you feel more able to deal with difficult situations. We did a whole episode on sleep, didn't we? We should do more. Getting enough sleep. I imagine that's hard these days as well, with the internet and with the Fortnite. Could you imagine when I used to play on... Let's do big face. Try and figure out what it says on the side for the tape. Well, I don't know which side you mean. So. I don't know which side. I've moved chat now. Oh no, quick, move chat back. Oh no, when I've clicked that window, and it means that's on top, so now you can't see anything. Okay, chat. Right, I've got chat back. Chat, move that. Right, okay, we're all back. Don't worry. The red arrow. Okay, I'm still not following you. So, the headphones, my headphones, the red. Oh yeah, this. Do you know what? Do you want to know a secret? You could. This is secret. So what these headphones allow you to do is you can unscrew these things, those little screws, and you can put whatever you want in there. So what in here is, do I do the words in the right order? This image, and on the other side, how do you move your head so they can see the other side? Like that. That one's faded. It's completely gone now. Faded. Dirty and old. But what this is it's a cutout from the sleeve of OK Computer by Radiohead. And what it says is, as you hear the alarm clock, you may, and it's cut out, so I'm missing some bits. Morning, say to yourself, every day I get better. Perhaps it's a good idea to start. And then there's a little picture of the exit. It's some of the artwork from OK Computer's inlay from Radiohead. So that's what that is. And in the future, maybe we can do that for the Ganji Puka Warriors. Maybe I can put your choice of thing in the headphone by unscrewing this. We'll put that on Patreon. Look out for that in the future on Patreon. Capital K will have to get one straight away because he's already done a lot. And Snips' owed one as well. Probably Nigel and others. But, this Space for Hire, imagine that, this Space for Hire. 10-year mystery solved. That's what it is. Get yourself a copy of OK Computer on CD. Take out this sleeve and you'll find the exact page and it'll be in there. I've got it on vinyl as well. That's why I didn't care about cutting up the sleeve. Probably, yeah. You might as well. You can all get a turn, can't you? You can all have a turn. You've all, I didn't offer this as a reward already, but I think you've all earned it, haven't you? You've all earned it. If I'm going to go handing out rewards now, then sort of posthumously. I eat too much hummus because I'm a vegan. I don't, no one's died, but you know what I mean. Like, for outstanding contribution, this space for hire, it should be already taken. It should already be capital K, Nigel. You guys, easy. Anyway, look, we're teaching kids how to get enough sleep. And what I wanted to say was that when I were a lad, my computer was plugged in at the wall, and if my mum wanted me to stop playing it, she'd come in and unplug it, take the plug away, and that was it. I was juffed. Now, these days, I don't know if that's still the case. Maybe with phones and all this, I don't know. And Fortnite never sleeps, does it? Fortnite never sleeps. I imagine if you're on a grind and you're young and you're playing, or maybe you're not playing Fortnite, maybe you're playing World of Warcraft or something else, like us old people, but but if you're if you're playing some of these games, they never sleep. They're not designed to sleep. Like, designed to just keep grinding, aren't they? So I imagine that I used to have to put down Street Fighter 2 or put down. Eventually, it became Ocarina of Time, but even then I was a bit older, wasn't I? But the games I had to put down, you could decide to put down. I remember it's Shinobi, Shadow Warriors, Ninja Gaiden. And I didn't just put that down. I put it down like I put my dog down. I ended it. I smash. Yeah, we should maybe, for a little surprise for him, Capital K can have his little face on there. Is that fair use? I think it's fair use, isn't it? Next tip, right? That wasn't a proper big face story. It was just me yabbing on. Web browser. Next tip. Easy. Be active. Well, that's not. You need to get enough sleep and be active. They chuffing me about here. Do you want me asleep or do you want me up? Because being physically active is important for both our physical and mental health. Oh, they want both. They want a nice balance, don't they? They want a routine. They want it to be so you have a bit of a run around in the day, and then you go, oh, I'm tired at night, and you're sleepy. This is one of the things. I was going to do an episode on games being good for mental health this week, but I thought we'd carry on with this until we get there. I stopped playing games because I'd look up and see the sunrise and birds chirping. All been there, huh? All been there. Yep. And you don't know it's happening because you're just in the zone playing, aren't you? I hold up this little controller when I think about it. A little controller in the zone, in the flow. And then it's like, whoops. Oops. Be active, though. That's good. Teaching kids to do that. That's probably not one that we need to worry too much about on Mental Health Monday, because I think there are so many agencies talking about being active for other reasons, for physical health, that the mental health aspect of it is not underestimated, but, it's kind of rolled up in that snowball, isn't it? So I don't need to be Joe Wicks fitness. I'll do big face. When the COVID hit, loads of people started going online with their fitness things. They were like, oh, I'm a fitness doer, but I can't do my fitness class, so I'll take it online. Oh, I'm a professional PE person, but class is closed, so I'll take it online. And that's fine, right? There already existed. Oh, you on the news. There already existed. There was loads of people already doing it. They'd started online. Their whole thing was online. Streams existed, right? But because the news on the BBC News and the ITV News and the national news, and in America, I don't know which ones are good and which ones are bad, but they've all got different names like Fox and CNN and whatever, right? On the news, they were like, oh, look at this. It's come to our attention that people are doing things online. People who used to be not online, like Mr. PE, are now online. So why don't you go and have a look at their classes? And I was thinking, no, all the people on Twitch that have been doing that for years, they don't even get the hype now. All these other people have come in and stole their thunder. And the news people are saying, look at these people online. They're not even the online people. They're not the online. They're the physical people who can't do it for physical, so they went online. The online people who needed the support and the hype and the pointing out and this is my moment. Everyone's staying in because of COVID. This is my moment. Oh no, they don't even get the point at the other people who are taking you. Oh dear, exactly, chuffers. They're chuffers. The news people who didn't realise it was already happening presented it like it was a newsworthy story. In our country, we had this bloke called Joe Wicks. Bless him. I don't feel negative toward him. He's a fitness chuffer, whatever. But he took the role of like national fitness chuffer. Go and watch my online thing. He was on the news. He was on the breakfast news. He was on like his PR agency must have had a field day. This was his moment. Joe Wicks' time to shine. I think he even got an MBE or an OBE. I think he even got like a reward from the Queen for services to the public, to the nation during this difficult time of COVID. But even he wasn't the internet bloke, was he? He was and these news people. They just like pick their Jesus, they hold him up, and like he gets all of the through flow, all the logarithm, all the input goes to this one guy. And I was like, oh poor. I don't know any other. I'm not on the internet doing internet fitness, but I was like, poor internet fitness chuffers who have been grinding it out for years. Poor YouTubers who have been grinding it out for years. Here comes someone who can't even work the chuffing, don't even know how to do a thumbnail. They've got people doing it for them, and the news is presenting them, and they've taken your thunder. Poor chuffers. Poor chuffers. Be active. So we all know how to be active because Joe Wicks has been pumped down our throat. What did he say there? You know what I mean. But we have these things. They go on the news even. So, but just have a thought for your poor, starving internet user who's always been making videos. Have a thought. I mean, maybe Joe Wicks has always been on the videos. Maybe he's been a YouTuber all this time, and I'm being harsh on him. But have a thought for your poor unsubscribed YouTuber. Drop a sub to me. You need someone looking you in the eye and cracking. You need to actually physically go to the class. Well, maybe you can one of these days because the old COVID's going to get. They're just going to say in about a couple of weeks in England. They're going to say, look, chuff it. The numbers don't matter. The people aren't dying. So you're going to catch it, whatever. We don't care. Open up fully. And people like me who are like, well, don't we want to get rid of it so that we don't have the other variants? People like me are just going to be completely minoritized to the point where it doesn't matter. Let it go. We're going to have to learn to live with it, apparently. We're going to learn to live with it. Look at these gifted subs. Whee! We're going to learn to live with it. It's a bad idea to learn to live with it because you don't know what you're learning to live with. You're taking a risk you don't need to take. A better idea would be to shut down until it was gone. Like take the important measures early and keep them strong early. We've fuffed it up already, haven't we? We've fuffed it up already, but a good idea is to do the serious, sensible shutdown and get rid of it properly, not spread it about again. Because if it mutates beyond one more step and just beyond, oh well, don't get me started. Anyway, at least we'll be able to get back together and have a game of football, which I do. That would be fun. Eat healthy. This is another one that we don't have to worry about. So on this list, get enough sleep is probably the one that we should push on Mental Health Monday. And that's politeness there in chat, isn't it? Thanking people for their good. I said thank you, but the people who directly benefit from the subscription are saying thank you. So there you go. You see, if you're watching this on the Twitch, look at the example we're setting on our Ganji Puko Warrior crew. I'm a big fan of politeness. It's not cool, but it's good. So I think out of those three, get enough sleep is the one we need to push. Be active and eat healthy. Yeah, agree. I mean, I'm vegan and I like running around with the dog. But I think those two almost are in the realm of, should I just say that? Are they in the realm of fitness and health and are being covered in that aspect and therefore we don't need to push it? Or is it something that we should also be ringing that bell and saying, look, you might not be interested in your fitness, you might not be interested in running around, you might be at home playing World of Warcraft more than down the park, but health is also related to mental health in this aspect. Maybe we should be ringing that bell. Interesting. Give yourself a break. All right, I'm going to take 10 minutes. No breaks for Scotty Hottie. We're whipping through these because we want to see the alternative perspective from America as well. So give yourself a break. Reward yourself for achievements. Even small things like finishing a piece of toast or work or making a decision. I'd put toast in there. It said work. You could take a walk, read a book. There you what? That's my reward, taking a walk. That's my reward. That's my chores. Read a book, treat yourself to food you enjoy. Oh, that's okay. Have a nice marzipan. I like marzipan. I like buying like Big Face. Can I still do this, I wonder? Marzipan. I haven't looked on the I'm pretty sure marzipan's not got any animal product in it. I haven't done it for a while, but I like, you go in the cake aisle in the supermarket. We don't anymore. No one goes in the supermarket anymore, do they, because of COVID? But they used to have, in these old days, they used to have these big shops now, where they'd put all the different foods in, all of it, like a big warehouse full of food. And you go in, and instead of saying, can I get, or please may I have, so no one gets anything for you. You go like a mobile, like a wire framed, like a basket, like a traditional sort of shopping basket, but made out of wire frame. And it would be so big that you need wheels to wheel it around. So they'd provide these wheeled baskets, and you yourself would fill this wheel basket almost to the brim. It would be heavy. It would be heavy, and you'd have trouble pushing it around. You wouldn't think to yourself, I've got to get this in the car, and then from the car into the house at the end. You wouldn't think that at the time, ever. But you did, and then when you got home, they give you these plastic bags. They don't anymore. They don't even do that anymore. But they used to give you these plastic bags. You put everything in the plastic bags. You'd load them up. Instead of putting like small amounts in each bag so that it made them easier to carry, you'd load them up. So they were fucking chuff full. Biting into your fingers, biting into every time, chuff that, and you have to get that in like. And when you try and you don't do one at a time, little relay, get them all at once. I'm King fucking Kong, I am. Every time, that's everyone with the shopping, isn't it? That's everyone. You don't do that anymore. That's gone out of the way now. That's gone down the wayside. You can't do that anymore. Now all you have to do is you ring them up. You don't even ring them up. You tell them on the internet what you want. You send them an email. Tick off all these little boxes of the things you like, and then they just send you whatever they feel like sending you, and it turns up when they feel like it. So rewarding yourself for achievements. I forgot. I just went on. I forgot what I was talking about. I don't know how that relates to the supermarket. These shops you used to have before the COVID, or just tell yourself, "Well done, well done, mate, well done, me." That's a bit. Oh dear, that's a bit crying, isn't it? Well done. It's a bit like crying on your own. Tell yourself, well done. Oh, well done, mate. I warrant you would only tell yourself well done in the situations where things have gone wrong. If you're anything like me. Oh, see, that was a well done moment. Exactly, I just did it then, like me. See, that was a well done moment. Exactly, I just did it then, like me. Am I still in sync? I'm probably still in sync, who cares? When I do something wrong like that, when I chuff it up by mistake, I say, oh, well done, mate. But you should do the opposite. You should actually say to yourself, well done. I'll tell you what, a reward for your achievements. I think I'm going to go one step more here. I don't think it's just acceptable just to randomly be chuffing that out. Just say to yourself, well done. Why not set yourself a goal and actually give yourself you can label your scenes and obs. I've got, right, down here, I've got them named, web browsing, blank, Big Face and that. It doesn't stop me. It doesn't stop me from clicking the wrong one. It doesn't stop me. I clicked blank then. It says blank. I put it in really big letters. But Annika, blank. So I took your advice. It helped. It has helped. But it hasn't stopped me. I think the problem is, oh no, I could rename it, couldn't I? The problem is that blank and Big Face, like blank is next to Big Face. So I need to rename blank to something like ZZZ blank. And then it'd be right down the bottom and I wouldn't click it all the time. That could be better, couldn't it? Big Face. They don't call it Big Face in the industry, do they? They call it like Zoom or something. But then if I did one for the phone calls on the internet, like Zoom, then everyone would get confused. So take a change of scenery. I think for the achievements, you should say to yourself, I'm going to buy myself this Tony Hawk's 1 and 2 that I kind of want but feel is too overpriced. I'm going to do that if I achieve X, Y, Z. Or, I'm going to eat that. That was what I was saying. I want a Big Face. I used to like going to the supermarket to the cake aisle, and in the cake aisle you'd get this marzipan, and it wasn't in the other aisles. It wasn't in the chocolate bar section because it's fucking chuffing loads of it, and it's not good for you, and it's not healthy, and you shouldn't really just eat it like a chocolate bar. But I'd buy that marzipan. I'd buy that marzipan. Get the microphone. I would buy that marzipan just to eat, just like a chocolate bar or a sandwich or a bar of soap. You don't eat the soap. Like that. Just choff that marzipan. I don't even know if I still can. I need to find that out. Vegan. But yeah, I used to choff that marzipan. Ugh, oh no, yummy, yummy, yummy. That would be a reward. You see, I could reward myself with a whole block of Baker's marzipan. Too sweet. There's no such thing as too sweet. That's the whole thing of sugar in your tea, isn't there? There's no limit to. Once you hit maximum sweetness, that's it. You at your peak. Sour. Ooh, that's sour. Ooh, I don't like that. Sweet. Yummy. Too sweet. Even more yummy. Unless it's something that you don't want it to be that sweet, like a curry. Then you're like, oh, a bit too sweet this curry. But other than like marzipan, you're expecting it. Right, go back to web browsing. You'd buy yourself a big block of marzipan. You'd hide it in the wardrobe, and you'd say, "I'm only allowed to eat that if I manage to do all my homework." Right, get a change of scenery. You might want to go outside, go to a friend's house, or go for a cafe for a break, but you can't because of COVID. So paint one of your rooms like it was an outside cafe and go and sit in it, and then the next day paint it back normal, and it was a change, wasn't it? Even if it's just for a short time. See, take a break or a holiday. You can't because of COVID. So time away from your normal routine can help you relax and feel refreshed. Even spending a day in the woods like I do, chasing rabbits with the doggy, can help you feel more able to face stress. But yeah, that seems resolve conflicts. See, those wait. In terms of kids, change of scenery. Yes, go to the park. Yes, I mean these days, do you go to the park, or is that a danger area where you could get mugged? I don't know. Depends on your local area. Go out, have a change of scenery. Request of your parents that they change the scenery for you. But taking a holiday, that's lined out in the school year, but you don't get to choose. You can't say, I want to go to Butlins, I want to go to Mallorca. It's up to the parents, isn't it? So bring a big dog, yeah. A funny story. Big face. You'll like this. My old dog Navin, the poor bugger. He used to bite people, he used to bite me sometimes, it was difficult. The biting problem. But at least I thought to myself, no one's going to fuff with me because I got this doggy, and if anyone tried to fuff with me, my doggy would bite them, and I'd have trouble. But at least they'd chuff off. Well, once upon a time, a big bus was parked up by us, and this guy, I'll just cut this one relatively short because I do need to get on. I need to walk the dog. This guy, I'll just cut this one short. This guy put his arm out the window and dropped his crisp wrapper out the window. My dog went to go and eat it, and oh no, I don't want that for the dog to eat. So I picked it up and I went over to the window and I knocked on the window of the bus, and I was like, mate, you dropped something. I like saying it like this, like it's polite. Excuse me, mate, I think you've dropped something. Like if you drop your wallet, you want to give it them back. Like I'm doing them a favour. Excuse me, mate, I think you dropped something. This is yours. And he was like, and he took it off me and then just threw it back in my face. I thought, that's very rude, isn't it? So I picked it up and I knocked on the window, and as he wound it down, I chuffed it back in really quick. So I'm up at this point. I'm up, and then I go and stand by the front of the bus, get my phone out, and I take a picture of the front of the bus, and that just made him really angry. So he got out of the bus, he come round to me and he goes, "Don't you be taking a picture of my bus, you chuffer," and he was waving his arms, and I thought, I went like this, I didn't want to have a fight with him. I don't want to fight. I got my dog, and the panic went through me because I thought, this is exactly the situation where Navin goes mad and bites this guy, and then I have to go to the police because my dog bit someone really bad, and I thought, this is going to end in tears. So as I went like this, oh no, I looked down, and Navin, he's just over there, licking a tree, having a sniff. Wasn't bothered by this guy's waving arms and his shouting. Like at home, At my house, if you did any waving of your arms and shouting, he'd be like, right, oh, I don't like this, oh, I'm going to bite someone. But no, in this situation outside, he was more interested in the smell on the tree. He wasn't defending me at all, wasn't helping me at all. I had to say to the man, look, we're nice people around here. Would you please chuff off because my dog might bite you? And he said, I don't give a chuff about your dog. And I thought, no, you don't, do you? Because you don't realise. But yeah, that didn't end well. Well, it didn't end well. It didn't end badly either. He did eventually just go and get in his chuffing van. It wasn't a van, it was a bus, coach. I've still got a picture of it if you want to see him. But yeah, why would you come park your coach up by me and then throw your rubbish on the floor and expect me not to go and remonstrate with you? I don't know. Web browser. Take a break or a holiday, like that man was doing in his coach. He was stressed, wasn't he? He was stressed. Couldn't handle me giving him his crisps. Resolve conflicts if you can. Although this can be hard, but resolve conflicts, sort things out, fix them, talk to people, apologise if you need to. Forgive yourself when you feel you've made a mistake. Don't bully yourself over it. Don't beat yourself up. Or don't achieve something you hoped for. Try to remember that nobody's perfect, and putting extra pressure on yourself doesn't help. I distract myself from my worry by doing a puzzle. A puzzle. In America, he'd drive off and dump coal on you. Dump coal on me. No thanks. That'd hurt. I wouldn't want that on your foot. Look, doing a puzzle back in the old days, before the internet, before computers, they used to have these things called. I'll Google it. I'll Google it. I won't Google it now though, just in case. Sounds like something you. But they distract. In the old days, you have a puzzle. So they used to have these things before the internet and computers, where you could, like, with a pen and paper, or even with objects, like with physical objects, there'd be like some kind of difficulty with the thing. You wouldn't be able to get the thing off the thing or move around the thing. It's rude. It's rude. Cozier. Wait, should we? Let's turn off the web browser. Oh no, that is the web browser. Okay, let's go to the big face. Let's turn off the web browser one by one. Go onto Ecosia, which I can show you again quickly with the web browser. Here's the way we do it. Look, Ecosia, and then dumping coal. I bet it just doesn't. Oh, it doesn't mean my keyboard doesn't work. So I haven't typed anything for so long that it's just turned itself off. Right, come on, dumping coal. Unbeatable fuel prices. Now I'm going to get bombarded with household bill pricing. Dumping coal at the power plant. I've got nothing rude. All I've got is normal dumping coal. Well, that's because I'm using Ecosia, so it doesn't come up with the colloquial terms. Look, web browser, thermal coal, dumping coal ash. We're okay. It's okay. It wasn't bad. So we'll look at it in my own free time when I'm not in my lessons. But look, we're doing a puzzle. This is what I wanted to explain. These days you've got the computer, so all the puzzles are on the computer, all the games, the puzzles. You know. Play games though. Like literally, it's okay to play computer games. It's part of the goodness. We're going to do a whole episode on it in the future. It's coming. It's building towards it. But yeah, look at that. It's part of the goodness. It's one of the tips. Love it. Build a support network. Oh my days, look at all this. Peer support, your GP, your local mind. That's the website that we use. They've got like little branches, little shops, little branches where you can go and talk to people. It helps me to play with my kittens. Kittens count. Specialist websites and organisations. I'm not suggesting you buy animals as a vegan, but you could rescue one, couldn't you? It might bite you. But support at work, friends and family. This support network at university or college is where we're going to, the one that we think really is being under thing. At home, we're doing it here. We are peer support here on True Binaural, on Mental Health Monday, on Twitch. We are peer support. We are our peers. In chat, you are. This is what it is. But schools, university or colleges, the places where we're getting the recurring problems of the mental health. We're finding lots of kids, 1 in 3, was it 3 in 10, 3 in 30, whatever it was, 10%, have mental health issues. They're not getting the support, they're not learning the support. So it's suggesting that you fall back on support in the literature to help the support, and we're saying the support might not really be there as much, and I feel personally that we need an agency, like a new agency. In fact, if I can just turn this off for a second, big face, web browser, it's not on, so I can do this. I'm actually going to use Google because I actually want to find what I'm looking for this time. Mental health school. I'm pretty sure there was news. Am I just off my bonnet? BBC. Okay, no, it's not quickly coming up, so I'm not going to talk about it. Back to the web browser. It's just stories about young people and mental health. Where did this pop into my mind, though? Why did it pop into my mind? Essentially, I believe there was charity. Okay, wait. I am going to go back to the big face. I'm going to go back to the browser, and I'm not searching for BBC Mental Health. I am searching for BBC, but not school. Charity, wasn't it? It was a charity overwhelmed, and it was 600, and it's not brought it up. That's weird. Okay, so I learned web browser. I learned this week, and it's not proving it, so I'm telling you, and you're just going to have to believe me, that this week I saw an article that said there was a mental health charity in the north of England that was overwhelmed by, it was a young people's mental health charity, and it had a waiting list of 600 people to see counsellors who were waiting to get onto the counselling service through a charity, not the National Health Service, not through a school, through a supplementary charity, and they were overwhelmed. So you're just going to have to trust me that I read that, and it's in my brain this week, so... every reply, oh look, we've been on the aeroplane. We all feel that we've been on the aeroplane with you because we were worried and hoping it was going to be. Hell no, the person was weird as hell. Well, that's a shame. That's a shizzer, isn't it? That's a shizzer. But you're back here with somebody who's weird as hell, so we'll make you feel better. But yeah, interesting. It's saying support at university. There isn't the support there. There isn't the support at the college. Even the charities who are there to offer the support are backlogged and underfunded. So, peer support, specialist websites, your GP, your local mind. These are all good. But yeah, I think we need, in some way, to find a way of offering this added extra of support, of peer support, that's where that's where it's lacking. That's where it's missing, and that's what we've been talking about, is how to deal with these things, isn't it? So yeah, we've got to the bottom of that one. In America, over in America, we all face trauma, adversity, and other stresses, so just get on with it. Look, what's wrong with you? That's the difference in tone. No, in America, here's a roadmap for adapting to life-changing situations and making you even more stronger than before. But they align on some slightly different ideas, and because we've been on for now an hour and a half, I've got to kind of push. The dog needs his walkie. Dog needs his walkie, doesn't he? Dog needs his walkie, so I've got to push these out quite quick. Just like the dog will push his things out quite quick if I don't. So... look, build your connections. They start with the relationships in America. They start with prioritise relationships. Prioritise, it even says. Prioritise. That means, that's the number one thing. That's the main thing. Other people, support networks, relationships. Join a group, it says. They don't mean start a band, although they couldn't they? In fact, I used to be in a band, like I said at the start of the broadcast, and that was a group. We used to get together once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, at the weekends to play gigs, to have fun. And being a part of a group, that was important. They kicked me out because I was too rock and roll, didn't they? They kicked me out because someone else could play the music better and didn't do the rock and roll as hard. So their loss. But look, join a group. Any kind of group though. They're not even being specific. Civic groups, faith-based. It could be your local. Your local model aeroplane flight club, or it could be your non-local raid group for Karazhan, couldn't it? Could be just anything. Look, join a group. It's on there. Start a band. It's their top one in America. Top. It came last in the UK for the tips, but it's top in America. Foster wellness. Take care of your body. We've talked about that already. That's in there. Practice mindfulness. They didn't say it explicitly in the UK one, but we've been talking about it on stream, so we're good at that. Avoid negative outlets. Now, this is new. This is new, isn't it? It may be tempting to mask your pain with alcohol, drugs, and other substances. But that's like putting a bandage on a deep wound. Focus instead on giving your body resources to manage stress rather than seeking to eliminate. I'm not ironically drinking beer. It's non-alcoholic, isn't it? Way. But yeah, don't do this to fix that. Focus instead on giving your body resources, because doing the drugs and the alcohol and all that, it drains your resources, doesn't it? It drains your wallet, it drains your physical, mental. Yeah, instead, build yourself up with resources to manage stress, make yourself feel healthy. Don't eliminate the feelings of stress altogether by doing the bad drugs, drinking the bad alcohol, but instead feel the stress and deal with it. That's interesting, isn't it? That's my little catchphrase when I do these. That's interesting, isn't it? I heard myself saying it in the edit all the time, and sometimes edit it off. Basically, I'm Jack Black in School of Rock. Me or you? Now I don't know if we're talking to Capital K in stream or me on Twitch, but yeah, probably me. I have seen School of Rock, but I've seen lots of movies, and it's tough for me to try and remember exactly what happens. But I remember that he's the teacher, and they do the rock, and it's inspiration, and you feel good at the end, and then you have a little cry, don't you? I don't know, do you cry at that one? What did I cry at the other day? I had a cry at something the other day. I thought, what am I crying at this for? It's not appropriate. It's a movie. It was if it pops up in my head, I'll tell you. Find purpose. It wasn't one sort of movie that you cry at. I'll tell you that. Was it Die Hard? Was it one of the Die Hards? It might have been Die Hard with a Vengeance because of the concept of racial unity. That it was. I was like, racial unity. Look, be proactive. It's helpful to acknowledge and accept your emotions. This is America. This is their next one. Find purpose. It gets a big header. Build connections, foster wellness, find purpose, gets its own header. Help others. Now this is interesting because we haven't talked about this. Young people, like developing their own self-resilience. We haven't talked about helping other people and developing a sense of purpose in your life. At the stage that they're at, big face. I mean, this is appropriate for everyone, so don't get me wrong. This is appropriate for everyone on Mental Health Monday, but the context of last week's broadcast where we talked about the failings in the school system, what we need to do to address it, teaching people to find purpose, to help others. Now, while you're at school, you are learning, you're investigating, they're always saying, what do you think you're going to be when you grow up? What do you want to focus on? What do you want to... I could never think of one thing. I always wanted to try lots of different... I was interested in all this stuff. What do you want to do? What's going to be your purpose? But it doesn't have to be this one thing, does it? And this helping others, part of it, letting that be part of the tapestry of things that we're doing. A lot of them have been self-focused, doing the exercise, eating well, getting my routine, sleeping better, doing it for me, helping others, volunteering, giving yourself a sense of purpose, connecting with other people. So what we're doing here, isn't it? Selfish old me doing it here. Giving myself a sense of purpose. Aren't I selfish? But you know what I mean? Find your ikigai. Oh God. Can't even pronounce names, let alone international words. What gets you out of bed in the morning? Exactly. Or the afternoon. Yeah, true that. Oh, I was kicked out of my... Oh, I see. Sorry, Nigel, yeah. For being too rock and roll, yeah, I was just like Jack Black, yeah. Except I imagine not in exactly the same way as Jack Black. We had you had phones, don't you have phones? Back then we didn't even have phones. Your phone was plugged in at the wall, and you're on it. And then we had this modern system of being able to do a phone call where you could include other people on the call. So we had like a group phone call. And so I was on the phone with one of the members of the band, and they said, "Oh, I'm just going to ring the drummer. Just going to get the drummer in the group phone call." And we were having a chat, and they said, "Look, this is what we're in the as we're all in the phone call together. There's something we need to talk about." And I thought, "Oh, fucking hell." They were like, "Look, you're not in the band anymore, and so can you leave the group phone call because we're going to add in somebody else and they're going to do your bit. So you put your phone down now, and that's the end of you forever." And I was like, "Oh, do I have to? I was really enjoying it." Yeah, chuffers. And it was all because I wrote profanities on my body in makeup and did a gig where I only wore a mini skirt and boots. I might have knocked things over and was accused of breaking things, but I didn't break them, and did some shouting, and was really rock and roll. Yeah, and also getting really drunk at rehearsals. I think they didn't like that. I wrote some really good songs though, and they carried on performing them, and one of them helped them to win Battle of the Bands. Look, this is no, we won Battle of the Bands before I was kicked out, so I won Battle of the Bands, but I wasn't allowed to play the final of Battle of the Bands because the Battle of the Bands competition wouldn't let me personally play, but they would let them play my songs. So at least the one I wrote was played and it won. Look, this is beyond the. What I'm trying to say is that you find purpose in life by helping others, and it's good. And in America, they're really highlighting that as something to teach young people to help resilience. So I think it's important too. As part of this organisation that we're going to create, or going to encourage the creation of, that's going to work alongside schools, not just a charity, not like a little random charity that has to pop up and scrape up the problem, and do their best. Not like that, not like just a support network, but like a proper chuffing. I could make a movie out of my life story. Yeah, there'd be some interesting scenes, I'll tell you that. And the ratings, they'd never put it in the cinemas. If we could have had phones when I was young, and some of the stuff I could have recorded and shown you, you wouldn't believe it. Even if you saw it on phone video footage, you'd be like, it's done on Photoshop. Look, anyway, we're talking about this. We're going to create this organisation that is going to help schools by running alongside them, by providing mental health support, but also, it seems, it should also be a part, like a portal to community groups to help others that the young people can be part of and involved with. And, one period a week in your timetable is charity time, not receiving the charity, but doing the charity. And that's good for your mental health. That needs to be put into it. Important, interesting. Be proactive. It's helpful to acknowledge and accept your emotions during hard times, but it's also important for you to foster self-discovery by asking yourself, what can I do about a problem? If the problems seem too big, break them down into manageable pieces. Like actually doing something about it. That's so American, isn't it, to put that on your list? Your list. We're all human. The Americans are just Europeans who went over to America a few years ago, and not all of them are. Some of them are Africans who went over to America. These are different stories, but I say went over, we're dragged over. Look, these are different stories. What we're talking about today is the difference between us. It's not the difference. I was just saying the British-based charity talks about managing stress and offers these ideas, but in America there are some different ideas being offered, and one of them is to be proactive, to get on and do something about it. I think actually, in reflection, we're all of these are proactive ideas, all of these ideas, whether the UK or USA, but in the USA it's more directly pointed at to do something about it. Interesting. For example, if you got laid off at work, you might not be able to convince your boss it was a mistake to let you go, but you could go around his house and put some poop through his letterbox. It doesn't say that. It doesn't say that. You could spend an hour each day developing your top strengths while working on your resume, so you could do something about it. See, you don't have to poop through anyone's letterbox. You can. They don't have letterboxes in America like we do in England. In England, our letterbox goes right into our house, straight in. It's like in our front door. In America, you have a separate box for the poop, don't you? So that if someone did poop in it, then it's only in a box next to your house. We go straight in. All right, you have a good day, Capital K. It's good to see you back from the plane, and that the airplane didn't, everything was okay. It's good to see that you're in one piece. Move towards your goals. Develop some realistic goals and do something. See, I've given him Capital K now. I've given him the inspiration to go and do something and to not listen to Scotty Hottie chuffing on the internet. But that's the main big tips there. Do it. Get out and do it. Look for opportunities. That's Americanized. That's an American idea, isn't it? Opportunity, land of opportunity. Look for opportunities. Move towards your goals. Fair play. Embrace healthy thoughts. Accept change. Keep things in perspective. Maintain a hopeful outlook. Fair play. Seeking help. It says learn from your past, but we're going to briefly skip over that because I don't like to be interested. No, you can do that as well. In the US, kids are often told who they are and not allowed to discover who they are. Oh, I see. Told who they are and not allowed to discover. Yeah. We get a bit of that in the UK too. You're good at this, aren't you? You'll enjoy this. But yeah, discovering who you are is really important as well, isn't it? I suppose in a cultural context as well, there's a lot of tradition. This is why I'm not so big on traditions as well. There's a lot of traditional ideas based around like, this is us, our culture. We need to keep this going to remind us of who we are and our tribe, and that we do these things and you do those things different, and this is part of your identity. And if you grow up as part of this tribe, like, and I don't mean tribe in terms of like, Amazonian tribes. I mean tribe in terms of like social, political, tribal politics. But if you're part of this group or this social group, that this is how you should do things. This is how we do them. So this is who you are, and that might not be the case. One of the wonderful things I think. Sport, I rely on sport a lot, and it might be sexist, but I don't think it is, because sport's equal, isn't it? Really, it should be. It's just been sexist in the past. But in sport, it's a great example where you might be brought up to say, certainly for me, it was playing football. Not football, American football, but kicking the ball football. I've not my social. We talked about golf earlier in the episode, and about how people with a higher social status maybe played golf, and people like me didn't have access to golf. Isn't it wonderful that people like Serena Williams and Venus Williams can be so different from the norms of who's supposed to play tennis, and be so excellent at it, and we can break down those borders completely and say it doesn't matter if my tribe, my group does this thing. If we're more into this kind of music or this kind of sport, I can do what I want, and I can be into this thing, and I can excel, and I think that's the way to look at that. Brilliant. Good. Find out who you are and who you want to be, and it's up to you to achieve it, and you can, because that's who you are. Seek help is there at the bottom, and it advises you to go to a psychologist, because this is the American Association of Psychology, so they advise you to use their services. And I'm not saying you shouldn't. If you need a psychologist. This is the resilient emoji. I thought I'd just bring this up right at the end. Web browser. There's actually an emoji for it, and we've used it in our title of today's broadcast. Actually an emoji. It's a wobbly line. It means resilience. So if you fancied getting a tattoo, but you didn't fancy a load of complex stuff, and you didn't want anyone to really, if you only wanted a little tattoo, like Phoebe on Friends, if you only wanted a Phoebe-sized tattoo, then there's a good idea, isn't it? It's just a wobbly line, and then you can get it covered over later. Your first tattoo, there you can have your first tattoo. It could be a wobbly line, and you can say it means resilient. It's got it's only small, only little wobbly line. Won't hurt too much, and then you've got a tattoo that means resilient. So there's the Samaritans. You can call that number if I've made things worse. I'll put my face where that nice picture of that lady is, and there you go. Look, you can call that number if I've made things worse, but hopefully we're making things a little bit better. This is Mental Health Monday. It's got its own channel now. If you try and find it on Google, it won't come up. Other people's mental health videos will come up before this, but if we're consistent with it and we keep doing it, eventually it will come out top. So, and thanks to you watching, even if you're quietly watching, not doing the chatting, even if you're watching this on a video later, if you're watching this on Mental Health Monday YouTube, if you're watching it on my old Ganji Kid VODs, overall, all the VODs, I'll show you that. I can show you that, look. This one, your channel, Ganji Kid, look, just all the VODs get dumped here, all of them dumped. It sounds bad to say dumped, doesn't it? It's a VOD archive, isn't it? VOD archive. If you're watching there, it's all good. It's all good in the hood. It's all good. You're being good. You're being good. All the support, those sub gifts earlier, they're massive. I'll tell you why they're even more amazing than you think they are. It's because somebody who didn't expect to be subbed is now suddenly magically subbed, aren't they? And I can send them a cheeky message into the inbox. Pop. Oh, I forgot to do it last month. Oh, I'm such an idiot. But yeah, it's all magic. It means a lot, and it's all magic. And we're going to just push this forward together. We're going to we keep moving forward, don't we? We keep moving forward because you're good. And if you can't be good, you're naughty. Big face for that. If you can't be good, you're naughty.